And then we're gonna, on the count of three, ending at three, we'll clap, okay?
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Wait. God damn it, we did this
Damn
again.
it.
Is it 3 clap or is it clap on 3?
It's clap on 3.
Can we record this and put this at the beginning of the podcast? Because that'd be funny.
Yes, we're absolutely gonna do that. All right. On 3, clap.
Okay, so when you say 3, clap when you say 3? Well, that sounds stupid, but okay.
Okay. Do you want to do it after 3?
Yeah, I think that makes more sense. 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
clap.
Okay. This is literally the first minute of the podcast.
Well, cut it down a tiny bit.
right.
Okay.
All right. So after 3. So 1, 2, 3.
The funny thing is, I can't hear your clap, so I don't even know if you're clapping or not. I can't tell. You know what? Screw it. We'll fix it in post.
So after all that, ladies and gentlemen, we are on episode 3 of What Is This? A bad movie podcast where we talk about the most obscure, random, just out of bounds movies that you've probably never heard of. Trevor, how are you doing today?
Oh, we're starting with pleasantries. I'm doing good. Thank you.
Good. I know you have a little bit of a issue with a dinner that you just had recently, but we'll save that a little bit later towards the end of the podcast.
That's the post-credit scene. Yes, stick around for that.
Oh, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. It's actually a mid-credit scene, not a post-credit scene. We don't want them to go through 8 minutes of credits here. That's not what we do. But we're here to talk about our next movie, which is, if you haven't seen in the title, I mean, if you've seen the title, you know what it is from the podcast recording. It's The Messenger, 1986. And, well, we have a history with this movie, don't we, Trevor?
I mean, I guess, yeah. As in, we watched it once, and I kind of forgot everything about it until you wanted to do a podcast episode about it.
Boy, Ken Burns is really going to do a documentary portion of this podcast with that type of knowledge, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I famously have a terrible memory.
Oh, yes. Folks, you have no idea how much I have to re-jog this man's memory, even though we just finished watching the movie.
Yeah, that's a problem, actually.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about your brain injuries later. Right now, again, we're talking about 1986's The Messenger. This is directed, producing, and starring Fred Williamson, who, Trevor, even though you're saying your memory is shoddy, you surely know that over the years we've watched movies together. We have a history with Fred Williamson.
Yes, a very long, structured past with our friend Fred Williamson. Famously in From Dusk Till Dawn is probably what you were going to say.
Yes. That is probably what everybody knows him from, his most mainstream work. He plays one of the bar patrons in the Titty Twister in From Dusk Till Dawn. He has one of my favorite monologues ever in the history of cinema, which is him talking about how he went 1 against like 100 of Vietnamese during the Vietnam War. One of the most hilarious things you'll ever see in a movie. I highly recommend finding that clip online. But in terms of our history with you and me, we watch a lot of bad movies, and we kind of noticed that in a certain person's filmography, Leo Fong, which is a gentleman we will cover
Oh, God, yes.
we will cover him somewhere down the pipe with this podcast, but he had a gentleman named Fred Williamson in some of his movies, or they even just co-starred together in movies not directed or produced by Leo Fong, but we kind of noticed when we did an IMDb search of this gentleman, Fred Williamson, again, we only knew him from one movie, but we noticed that he has starred in a ton of movies, and he also directed and financed a lot of his movies, at least over 20. He has directed over 20 movies since the 70s.
Yes, and none of them you have ever heard of, and you will never hear of, even though we're covering one of them. You know, the thing is, we've learned over the years that he's no auteur. He's not essential player in the history of cinema.
No, he's no Marty Scorsese. He's no Adam McKay. He's no he's none of those guys. I don't know why I said Adam McKay. That was the only director I could think of other than Martin Scorsese. But
famously, yeah.
But Fred Williamson tries to think that he's an auteur, and I mean he does have a lot of the same stuff happen in the same movies. Some would call that laziness. I'll say that's auteur, but. But for our sake, for The Messenger, we kind of picked this movie out of the bunch that we've seen. We've seen about at least 5 of his directorial debuts over the years, but we picked this one because it's kind of our favorite, because kind of like our previous movies, there is one scene that sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's something we've referenced a bunch over the years since we watched it, which we will get to in a minute. But before we get into like a little bit of the meat and potatoes of what the actual movie's about, we are gonna just cover, who is behind the scenes of this movie. This will not take long, this segment, because frankly, nobody. There's just nobody that did this movie. This was financed by a bunch of Italians. If you look at the credits, it's just mostly Italians, and the producers, the editors, the cinematographers, just pretty quite clear that Fred Williamson was not getting a budget back in America, so he had to go to Europe, specifically Italy, to get this movie made. I can tell you that there's 4 cinematographers, all Italian, in this movie. Always a great sign that there's 4 cinematographers for one movie.
That means you're going to have a very consistent visual language in your film.
Absolutely. One of them, though, is a famous cinematographer, Trevor. His name is Giancarlo Fernando, and he is quite remembered for doing the cinematography for the infamously bad movie Trolls 2.
Oh.
Yes. Oh my God, indeed. He helped shot that famous close-up.
Yeah, okay. So we've got some pedigree in this.
We got some pedigree. Outside of that, nobody's as editors, nobody's as composer. We'll get to the music in a minute when it comes to this movie.
Oh, we will talk about the music. Don't worry.
Yes. I think, honestly, Trevor, we should probably just bring up a little bit of a thing that you love to discuss when it comes to these kind of movies, specifically of the Italian variety.
Oh, God. Am I really going to have to get on my, anti-Italian rant here? I feel like in some ways I got to hold back a little bit just in case, I don't know who's watching this or listening to this.
Look, I see the stats on YouTube. We don't really get a whole lot of Italian viewers, so this is our way of bridging the gap.
Okay, thank God. Yeah, okay, I can talk about that.
Oh, well, I'm kind of hoping we can bridge the gap, but, since nobody listens in Italy, you're probably fine, whatever you want to say.
Yeah. Basically, the short of it is Italians suck at filmmaking. I'm sorry, you're all bad, every single one of you.
Now, I just did bring up Marty Scorsese, who is famously Italian.
But he's American Italian, so that's fine. I'm talking about purebred Italians.
So, the 8.5, the Bicycle Thieves.
Yeah.
Any Fulci movie, any horror movie by him.
Yeah.
You don't find that cinema at all.
No, it's all terrible. It's all garbage. You guys don't know how to record sound, so you guys just do it all in post. Like, what's up with that? What are you guys, stupid? It's pretty easy to get a microphone and just record it while you're rolling the camera. We figured that out 100 years ago, so...
Yes, Trevor, as we've figured out famously in these first 45 seconds of the podcast, we know how to do sound.
Yes, exactly. We know how to sync audio, but apparently they didn't teach it over there.
Well, I guess we'll bring it up now. I thought we were going to do it later, but I guess this also goes with the composing of this movie as well, and most Italian movies we seem to watch when it comes to the music.
Yeah, God, I'm not a music critic, but, I can recognize a tune, and the music in this, oh my God, it is. And you know what? We're going to play some right here. I'm making Michael do work for me, so go ahead, play some music for us. And we're back. Wasn't that music terrible?
It was absolutely terrible. I think you said it was like Baby's first synthesizer was a lot of these musical tracks.
Yeah, this was like the kind of synthesizers where you still had to plug in cables to holes and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's 20 cables to make the computer make a sound.
And it just seems like I'm going to just assume Fred Williamson did the music because, he did everything. This is one of those black tank top affairs. So it's I think he only knew 2 keys of the synthesizer. So, he just went to town on the same tune over and over again.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the talent of John Carpenter to actually make 2 keys actually sound very good.
No, I think when Fred Williamson was a famous football player in the 60s, and then also he became an actor, I don't think he had the time to do music.
No, God, no. I mean, do we need to bring up this composer's name? Do we need to shame him?
Let's not shame him, because I kind of
Okay.
looked him up, and he has done nothing before or after. So
Thank goodness.
there's really no mention, no need to mention him whatsoever.
Okay, well, I guess we'll move on from that then.
Yes, let's move on. I guess one more little thing before we get into the plot. Again, this is a black tank top affair. This is like almost a self-funded thing by Williamson, and because he writes and he doesn't write actually. There's like multiple writers. They've done absolutely nothing. I assume they're friends of Fred Williamson, so maybe these are all just like cover names for him. But he's directed, he's produced, he's starring as the lead, obviously. But like, this movie kind of goes all over the place when we describe the plot, and I believe we just figured out that not only was this self-funded by the Italians, but this was just a chance for Fred Williamson to just have a vacation all across the planet.
Yes, this is a really good example of one of my favorite, well, it's not really my favorite because I kind of hate them, but like one of my favorite just ideas for a film, which is the vacation movie, where a filmmaker is like, oh, I want to go to, in this case, Italy, but, it's pretty expensive, you gotta buy a hotel, you gotta buy a plane ticket, but what if I could make a film in Italy and get Italians to pay for it for me? And that's exactly what Fred Williamson did for this. And there's a lot of the film is just in this beautiful Italian villa, which is shockingly empty, and it looks like it would make for a very nice vacation for Fred Williamson.
Yes, as we go through the plot, it's conveniently Fred Williamson seems to find the most empty parts of the most busiest cities you can think of. It's very strange how he's able to do that.
And he goes to Las Vegas, and he goes to Chicago, and he comes back to L.A. Like, a lot of really nice vacation cities that you can have fun in.
His other movie, Trevor, Foxtrap, also takes place in Europe. So I think he was filming 2 movies at the same time. So I believe he does more European jaunting over that movie. So yeah, he just was doing the whole gamble in 1985, 1986.
So that would explain it. Yeah, so make it 2 movies at the same time on your vacation. How fun.
That's so much tax write-off. Do you know how much money that dude probably saved on taxes when he was making this movie?
There's a lot of exploding cars, so yeah, that costs money.
That does cost money. Well, I think we covered enough of like behind the scenes and also your anti-Italian rant, so let's just go into the plot itself. Again, the plot is pretty basic, although for a movie that's an hour and 37 minutes long, I don't understand why it needs to be that long, because there's not much plot here other than the basics.
No, I don't even remember the plot. I was only half paying attention to this movie, to be honest, because I have been dragging ass all day. I got woken up because my upstairs neighbor was doing Pilates at like 4 a.m. and and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I'm actually very tired right now, if you can't tell.
Did you do the comical thing where you got your broom and you hit it on the
I got my
the
broomstick
ceiling?
out, yeah. Shut up there.
You
No,
crazy
unfortunately not.
kids, I'm trying to sleep.
No. I just took it like a bitch, and I just lied down and tried to go back to sleep while he's, got his elephant stompers out.
His elephant stompers. I think that's the new Kanye shoes, is those big red ones.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, let's get into the plot itself. So we open up in Italy. We just see this random mafioso. There's a lot of them, so I'm just going to say generic mafioso unless they actually get a name. This gentleman has a name. His name is Luigi. And then, unlike what happens in 2024, this Luigi actually gets caught getting shot himself. So that is the exciting incident that starts the movie. It's a bunch of...
that was my first note I wrote down, is that it starts with a sick head explosion. Although it's not really a head explosion, you just kind of see him get shot. But I feel like the ambition was there, and he probably could have done a cool head explosion, but no.
Yeah, this movie has some pretty good squib work. Sometimes there's no squib work, which is hilarious considering Williamson is shooting with a Magnum, a god killer, most of the movie. Sometimes there's just no blood on any of these white clothing, but I do like how they kind of budgeted this, where yes, you don't see the head explode, but you see that hat comically fall off because he got shot right in the head, backward style, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's only squibs in the Italian scenes, which leads me to believe believe that it's much cheaper to do squibs in Italy than maybe here in LA.
Now, you say that, Trevor, but when we get to our main man in Chicago, he does get some tomato juice thrown at him, so...
Oh, that's true.
But that's really not squibs, I don't think. So I think you're still right in that it's just, they had the squibs in Europe, but they could not get the money in America when he shot there. But anyway, after the credits, we get to the most boring introduction of Fred Williamson, where he's just in this poorly recorded, like, mansion villa, wherever this is shot at, and we just learn that he's a former Green Beret, got out of prison. I guess he's a mafioso. We don't really know much about him, but like this old man, Get Good, I believe was his name. He just, helps him, and we have the fastest transition to a sex scene in movie history, because this is all in first 5 minutes, folks. We see this Goomba get shot in the back of the head. We see credits. We see this 1.5 minute scene of just introducing who Fred Williamson is, and now just bam, smash cut to a 2-minute sex scene.
Yes, a very long and uncomfortable sex scene.
Oh my god, there's a point where they're doing this pan shot where it's like you see their heads and you go down the bed, like it's supposed to be a sexy shot and all because they're naked, but then the pan just goes backwards and you go back to their heads, and I'm like, I don't know why you're doing that, man. I think you're doing coverage. I think you should edit that out.
Yeah, they're trying to get another shot of it, take two, but yeah, no, it's just you're gonna see the whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty disturbing.
You're gonna see Fred Williamson make love to that poor actress. I feel so bad for her.
Yes. Oh, and that's the case in all of Fred Williamson movies. He is just horny.
He's a horn dog.
He's a horn dog, and he also just goes for women at least 20 years younger than him.
Yeah, we think Fred Williamson might have some women problems because he is, spoiler alert, there's a lot of just, like, terrible treatment of women across his entire filmography. When we get to a certain character towards the end of this recap, I'll let you know pretty much how my thoughts are about how he feels about women, but... Basically, we learn through a party that he's at, still in Italy with his girlfriend. His girlfriend's named Sabrina, by the way, so at least he was able to give this girl a name before what happens to her. But we learn that Sabrina is with the mafioso, and she's in bad deep because apparently she has 8 kilos of cocaine. I don't know where she's storing that. It's a lot of cocaine.
Yeah, that's like, I think, a trunk full of cocaine. But either way... When the party ends, a bunch of these mafioso, including this Italian NoHo Hank, a part of the group, just tries to kill both Williamson and Sabrina. They are successful in killing Sabrina, and boy, does she get riddled with bullets. That's where the squibs come into play. There's so much squibs on her back. She gets killed, but Fred Williamson is able to shoot everybody in the parking lot with guns. He pistol whips the last dude, NoHo Hank, and... Basically, now he's on revenge. He's got to figure out what he's got to do next.
He's the messenger.
Yes. It's ill-defined. That's why it's called the messenger, because he labels himself that, or at least the cops do throughout the movie, but it's not really used very well, that theme, so I'm not really sure why they even bother giving him a nickname.
There's a line towards the end of the film where they call him the cocaine vigilante, and I just kept thinking, like, that is a much better title for this movie than The Messenger.
Yeah, that feels like that's the Italian title of this. Because you know how Europe kind of has like different titles for American movies.
Yeah, the cocaine vigilante.
Well, anyway, so we're back at this Get Good's villa, and we get some of the weirdest scenes of the entire movie here, where there's this lady named Nicole who keeps getting violated, and I don't understand why we have this in the movie.
Oh my god, yeah. So, hold on, we gotta break this down for a second. So, she's in, like, this barn, essentially, where there's, like, it's like a little shack that you hold, like, 3 sheep in, and these 2 men come in, and, of course, they start, trying to sexually harass her,
yes.
And they kind of succeed, and then Fred Williamson walks in, a little late. He could have maybe came in there a little early, especially because he solved what they were gonna do. He stops them, he beats them up, and then she, like, walks away or whatever. And then who is the guy? And then some other random guy.
It's the gardener. So basically, even before that, Trevor, right? It just because I want to get this order right. He sees this Nicole girl get assaulted with a whip by
Yes.
this gardener. And we're like, oh, that's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we see this guy's a slime ball, but at least they didn't go the sexual assault route. Oops, they do it 2 scenes in a row next with this girl, both with those 2 guys you just mentioned. And then almost immediately after, the gardener just comes back and he just sexually violates this woman, and it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah, he finishes the job, and it's terrible. But also, it's really, like, bizarre because after he saves her from this, he just walks away. He doesn't try to comfort her at all. He literally
No.
he breaks up this between the 2 men and the women, and he just, like, walks away. And it's just like, what are you doing, man? Like, actually help her.
And then again, yeah, the gardener comes in, does what he does. Granted, we don't see much of this, so that's the good news. The bad news is
He doesn't linger on it.
it doesn't linger on it, but awkwardly we see her run away naked in the backyard, so I don't know why we needed that shot. So he eventually gets Gardner his comeuppance. He beats him up in the shed. I don't know why he just doesn't kill him here, but we know why he doesn't kill him here, because we have the most awkward total transition I've seen in a movie in a while, where we see these horrible sexual assaults. Nothing funny about that. But then we just, like 30 seconds later, she's just all smiles and giggles with Fred Williamson as they go shopping at whatever villa they're in Italy.
And they got this, like, funky music playing.
Very funky, upbeat music playing. And then all of a sudden, while they're having, like, tea or coffee or whatever at this cafe, the gardener comes back in the middle of public, and he has a shotgun, and he blows away a waiter while he's trying to kill this Nicole lady. It's wild.
It's a pretty good transition.
It's a very good transition. And we see this, like, federal agent save him. Both Williamson and Nicole, he shoots the gardener, and that's how we get out of that scene. It's just so awkward. I don't even know why we need it. Basically, there's no reason for any of these scenes to play. We have because we don't see Nicole the rest of the movie, as far as I know.
No, it's because Fred Williamson was too busy. You know, he wants to yell cut as soon as possible so he can go on the rest of his vacation and go to, you know, shops and restaurants.
Exactly. And if he's filming 2 movies at once, yes, he does not have the time. He's got to go. So, but still, there's no reason for these scenes to exist. But anyway, we then transition to now we're in Chicago, as you like to point out. Chicago. So now this is pretty much the rest of the movie, where he's going to go from city to city to either get information from drug runners or kill some mafiosa or vice versa. So here he's in Chicago trying to find this drug dealer. Now, I don't have the drug dealer's name. I don't think they ever say a name, but we have probably the best character of the movie, Trevor. And if YouTube viewers, you'll know the thumbnail of who I'm talking about, but can you describe who this pimp character is that he's going after?
He's got this giant yellow suit, and he's got these just incredible little patches on his, like, shoulders that are just like these giant money logos. It's wonderful.
Just these humongous dollar signs. Like, it's so gaudy, it's so awful, but, like, god damn it, I want this outfit and I want to wear this in public.
Yeah, this needs to be in Spirit Halloweens all over the country.
Yes, generic money pimp, I guess is what you would call it. But he also, by the way, he has these gaudy, like, dollar signs all over his gaudy yellow suit, but he also has the biggest cross, like it's Flavor Flav's watch. That's how big it is. It's just hanging around his neck. It's like they had fun making this character's outfit for the shoot.
And it definitely seems like, because there's no costume designer on this fucking shoot, so it seems like it's just what this guy probably had in his closet at the time, and they all just thought it was funny, so he showed up with it.
Yeah, you might be right, but sadly this pimp does not stay long. Fred Williamson chases the man. He pretty much shoots him in some, like, bar billiards area, and then he somehow knows to go to the first mafioso in Chicago. He kills him with a ninja star. I have no idea why he has a ninja star. He never uses ninja equipment for the rest of the movie, as far as I know, so just weird. Another weird set of scenes.
It's the 80s, man. Like, gotta have a shuriken in your arsenal.
That's true. I mean, this is the height of canon films, so ninjas and just, you know, white or black.
Ninjas were in. We gotta bring them back, man. I miss ninjas.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter if you're white, black, whoever. You just have ninja stars. It's the 80s. It was mandatory in America to have that. So we do have a couple other introduction to characters. We have Christopher Connolly as a federal agent. We also have our man, Cameron, would somebody shut the fucking door, Mitchell, also in this movie as a Chicago cop, I believe.
Yep, just reading his lines off a piece of paper in front of him, like always.
Yes, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, thinking like maybe he wasn't doing that because he is a bit more energetic than he is in some other movies that he stars in that we've seen. But no, for sure, by the end of the movie, he is definitely reading his lines.
I think they filmed all of his the standing scenes they filmed first, and he got tired of it, and so I think the rest of it was just sitting down from now on.
That would make a hell of a lot of sense. So the other guy, by the way, he's kind of like... So basically, Cameron Mitchell is trying to get Fred Williamson throughout the rest of the movie. Meanwhile, Christopher Connolly, the federal agent, he's just trying to save him because he likes his gift. It's kind of like Death Wish in a way, where there's a guy, like a cop, trying to make sure Fred Williamson does his job. But Christopher Connolly, I'm not familiar with this man's work. He's kind of just a nothing like actor in this movie. He's just generic white man template for these kind of like blaxploitation movies. But the only thing I see that he's ever done, he did 490 episodes of a thing called Peyton Place. But this was the 60s, so unless our age demographic is like, baby boomers,
Jeez.
I think they have no idea what I'm talking about.
490. Well, that was back in the day when there's 3 TV shows on the air, so...
That's true. I guess this is the 60s, but I was going to say, when MASH had, 70 million viewers for its final episode, we don't get those numbers anymore in television.
Oh, God, no.
No. So now we're now in Hollywood. Just the transitions as city to city is just like the rest of this movie is just inconsistent and just not paced very well. But now Jake is in Hollywood. He's trying to get a drug dealer / mafioso named Emerson, who, again, see, I keep talking about he's trying to get drug pushers and mafioso. I don't know where he's getting these names, and I don't know what in correlation they are to one another.
He's reading the script, that's how.
That's true. I guess maybe this character just knows. He's reading the script as he goes on.
He just knows exactly where everyone is at all times.
Now, I say the pimp with the dollar sign is probably the best character in the movie, but Trevor, this dude, Emerson, he's played by Michael Dante. I think he's probably our favorite actor of the movie, just by the way he overacts and over-enunciates so many of his stuff.
Yes, if we have the technology, we will put some of his lines here for everyone to hear, because he is just hamming it up. He's having a great time. He's calling people silly bitches. It's wonderful.
Some clown is out to get me.
Oh, come on. What do you mean, out to get you?
It's not funny, you silly bitch.
What's going on in your mind? What's in your mind?
I mean, kill, dead, bang, you know what I mean?
No, yeah, he's our favorite, and unfortunately, he didn't do a whole lot before or after this.
No. Unfortunately, we get some of this stuff. We also get a great, hilarious introduction that you pointed out with his car. Can you mention what happened at the very beginning?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he has the garage door open, and he, parks his massive car inside of it, but there's a point where he's trying to lower the garage door, but his car is too big for his garage, so that's definitely not the car that's supposed to be in that. It's someone else's car that they're renting this house for the day for this shoot, and yeah, whoever's car that is, it just doesn't fit in this tiny ass garage. I don't know what car could fit in there.
I don't even think they had Mini Coopers back then, so yeah, it's very ill-defined why he has such a small garage for such a big car. I mean, this movie is from 86, but man, this feels like the 70s, especially when you're seeing this Emerson guy's place.
Yes.
Everything's made of wood. How'd you mention the carpet looked towards the very end of his scenes?
Yeah, it's a puke green high pile carpet. Also, I think when I first watched this, I made the observation. It's not, but I wish it was. It looks exactly like the house from in Black Dynamite. I can't remember, but he's like when he break the pie on the windowsill trick is whenever that scene is, and it looks exactly like that house.
I have a feeling, even though again this is not a 70s movie like Black Dynamite is parroting, I bet you Michael J. White and the rest of those guys watched this movie or a bunch of Fred Williamson movies.
Yeah, this actually really does. There's parts of it that does feel like it is a direct inspiration for Black Dynamite in some ways.
I mean, we're making fun of Fred Williamson, but he has to be some sort of legend because again, he's done so many movies as an actor. He's directed so much. He's famously was friends with Jim Brown because they didn't play football together, but they were playing at around the same time in the 60s. So I think he had some clout. So I think it makes sense if there's some tributes in Black Dynamite and maybe some other avenues of filmmaking more recently. eventually Emerson is found out by Fred Williamson, mostly because his wife is trying to get out of the game. She's clearly like high on drugs. Like this is sort of like a Goodfellas in a way, but she basically helps Fred Williamson kill Emerson. She actually does the kill shot, which was actually pretty cool. So this is basically where I'm going to do my little rant about Fred Williamson movies, because you mentioned it earlier about women.
Okay, go ahead.
So basically every woman in a Fred Williamson movie is, and pardon my language, folks, but this is how Fred Williamson sees women in movies. They're either skanks, they're prostitutes, they're druggies, they're very weak, they only care about material goods, they only care about themselves. It's just like, you know, Fred Williamson is a happily married man. I believe he's been married to the same woman for the majority of his life. And it's like, I don't understand why he just hates women, because that seems to be a running theme in everything we've watched of his so far.
Yeah. If you're a woman auditioning for a Fred Williamson movie, just run away. Do anything else. You'd be less abused in, like, I don't know, a different kind of movie. Just get out of there. Get out of that casting couch.
Well, I hope he's not doing casting couch. I would like to think he's not that type of gentleman, but you know what's funny? I was on IMDb. He apparently is in production with another movie as a director. Who? I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day. Let me actually see the name
Probably
of it.
not.
Probably not. We were also hoping Leo Fong was able to make some movies before he passed, but sadly that was not the case. But just going on IMDb, it looks like it's in development, quote unquote, which for IMDb
that's never coming out then.
It probably is not coming out, but it's called The Last Hitman. But
that means he has like a few words scribbled on a napkin somewhere. There was no, you don't know how to, he does not know how to develop a movie.
He does not. What's interesting is just looking at the IMDb, and again, more than likely this movie's never going to get made, but it's written and directed by Fred Williamson, so it's another black tank top affair, but it stars Italian legend Franco Nero, Django himself. So
God damn you Italians!
But Franco Nero is one of the better Italian actors, especially in the Django spaghetti western scene. So, you know, maybe it's about two old guys just doing one last ride. That could be interesting.
Two very old men on their deathbeds having one last hurrah.
Problem is, it's going to be filmed on like red camera shit, so it's going to look terrible.
Oh, it ain't gonna be it's going to be filmed on an iPhone or something.
It's probably going to film on a potato. No, this is not going to be like 28 years later where they use like 20 iPhones to shoot an action scene. I don't think.
Yeah, no, it's going to be filmed on his nephew's iPhone 12 mini.
His iPhone 6.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so again, Emerson's killed. He gets a word on the last. He thinks is the last person he has to kill, which is a guy named Rico, who is played by Joe Spinell. Now, you probably don't recognize that name, viewers, and I know Trevor did not recognize that name at the time. But if you've ever seen the 1980 horror gore classic Maniac, he is the titular Maniac.
Oh my god. Oh, that movie. Yeah, everyone's seen that.
I'm actually surprised you've never seen Maniac. That seems right up your alley.
Does it? Do you know what? What are you talking about? How do you think I like watching movies about maniacs?
Yes, absolutely. You say it all the time. That's why we watch these movies.
We have seen Maniac Cop.
We've seen Maniac Cop 2. We haven't seen the good one. Although, spoiler alert, Maniac Cop 2, it's got stunts by the guy who went on to do all the stunts for Fast and Furious. So it might be worth your time to watch.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty great.
But, so basically the last third of the movie is just trying to kill this Rico guy. And we also get a little bit more with Emerson's wife. But before we get into the next city, there is one cool shot in this movie. At least I found it to be a cool shot where he's... Fred Williamson is outside near the Hotel Roosevelt, if you're familiar with LA landmarks, and we think it's just like an establishing pan shot of him just walking to the hotel in this middle of the alley, but it turns out it's a POV shot because a guy pulls a gun out and starts shooting at Williamson, and that is probably like the most inventive scene in this entire movie, in my mind.
And I'm sure it was an accident. I'm sure it was not planned that way, and somehow he just got gold out of it. Now, I do want to talk about, because that scene there... This happens twice in the movie. The only two good scenes in this movie where he... Fred Williamson, he doesn't even really set these scenes up. They kind of just happen, where he's getting, like, what's the word? He's getting like ambushed by people, and he gets out these 2 giant dual pistols, and he just starts shooting everyone, and all these cars are just exploding, and he's wearing these like all black leather outfits. It looks really, really cool, and it makes me think it's from another movie or something, because I don't know how you can have these 2 really cool scenes and then the rest of it is just nowhere near that level.
It makes me think one of 2 things. One, this was probably shot early where he had a budget.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's why it looks better than it does. But also maybe he's thinking this is like a demo reel of sorts, so then people like these Italian like producers get conned into making his movies, thinking he's like a big star or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's totally what they used to get the funding for the movie, because that's what they shot. They got a few junker cars, they filmed in slow motion, they got those cool shots where he's standing in front of the cars, on fire as the flames go up, and he's in slow motion, he's got his all black outfit on. Yeah, it's very cool.
It's as close to like a rap album you can think of, because that is definitely like someone's album cover. When you see, if you ever see this movie, ladies and gentlemen, the 2 shots of him walking towards the flaming cars with like holding the pistols out, like he's just like some sort of video game character. It is pretty sweet to look at.
Yeah, you just need the parental advisory sticker in the bottom right corner and you're good.
Exactly. So we are mixing up 2 shootout shots. So there's one in Hollywood where, again, it's him versus a car in a back alley. Again, empty. Okay, so when we're in Los Angeles, there's just nobody on Hollywood Boulevard. That makes total sense. But he's able to deal with those mafioso. A little bit later, when he goes to Las Vegas, which is our last of the new cities that he ventures, he also gets ambushed by some of Rico's men. But instead of dual pistols, he uses like dual Uzis or something. And again, he is the greatest shot in the world. He's able to shoot all these guys, and he's also just how to blow up the car. I don't think the physics work on that, but it makes for pretty cool shots, like you said. But we're pretty much towards the end of the movie at this rate, because he is able to figure out where Rico is. But before he gets Rico, he gets Emerson's wife arrested in this long, boring scene where she's at the Las Vegas airport, and she's just pretty much but pretty much tricked into realizing she has the murder weapon of Emerson's in her bag and a bunch of coke. So she's out of the movie. Again, she's just in it for herself. She's a druggie. She's a murderer, whatever. She's just a bad woman. Just get her out of the movie. But at this point, he figures out where Rico is. He's going to do a standoff at Rico's mansion. But at the same time, Connolly and Cameron Mitchell are also there trying to protect them / arrest these guys. But Williamson does a great thing here where he pretty much does a Wile E. Coyote by using like a stick of dynamite to scare all the cops out of the building.
Yeah, but it's like you learn it. It's a fake stick of dynamite.
It's a fake stick of dynamite. What's not fake is this Magnum God Killer he has with a sniper attachment to it, basically a scope. So like he's able to kill 2 of Rico's henchmen, and then probably in the most lamest but funniest way, he finally gets Rico. He basically throws a fake grenade to get all the rest of the cops away from the building, and then just Fred Williamson throws a real grenade, and then like you pretty much should have just had Rico just go mother and then show the explosion.
Yeah, well, and then it should have cut to him like blinking with like he's got like ash all over him and everything.
Yeah, he turns into ash for a second. He's like, this hurts more than it you say.
And he just he turns into just a pile of eyes on the ashes. Yeah.
We should have had that. Yeah. But at the we think that's the end of the movie, but whenever we do this, when we watch Tubi or any movie on these rewatches, we realize there's still 10 minutes left of this movie. Somehow there's still 10 minutes left. You think the plot is over, but there's this really poor, not even poor actually, they had 3 cars to film like a car chase in the middle of the desert, which is actually pretty nice. Again, this is probably where he had the budget for a little bit before he clearly ran out when he did his Chicago scenes.
Before he got kicked out to Italy, yeah.
But I love this one death that happens. So he fools the guys into thinking he dies from getting like, just hit into the desert, like in this big cliff. But he goes to this weird dive bar in the middle of nowhere, which, as you said, Trevor, I think they probably have the best pancakes in 500 miles because it's so divey. There's no way the food's not good.
Yes, in the middle of the desert, somehow this place serves all-day breakfast, which I do not believe.
Yeah. What did you say about all-day breakfast with this place?
Oh, that like this place in the middle of the desert can have all-day breakfast, but McDonald's can't? I can't get a McGriddle past 10:30 a.m.? What's wrong with you? We used to have that, and then COVID ruined it.
COVID ruined it. America. We used to be a country, man. Walmart's used to be open 24/7. McDonald's had breakfast for more than 10:30 a.m. It's just not right. It's just not right. But what is right is how hilariously he's able to get this one henchman killed. He just basically psychs him to get towards the kitchen, and then the barkeep is just like, not another goddamn robbery, and he just takes a shotgun and just blows this dude away right in front of, like, children.
Yeah, there's a kid, like, maybe, like, 3 feet next to the guy he's blowing away, and he's just eating his burger.
This kid's just trying to eat his, like, cafe version of the Hobbit hole, and he's just, all this blood is now all over his pancakes.
Yeah, it's very very violent. Unfortunately, they kind of just cut away from it. It's so random. And then he also, like, drop kicks someone, and he's doing, like, those, like, Bruce Lee kung fu noises, which is just, he's a Green Beret. Why are you acting like a fool like that? I don't know.
Yeah, it goes back to earlier when he had the ninja star. It's just, he does, like, martial arts training. He does a ninja star. It's very weird. But the twist, this big twist, Trevor, that will sure lead to a great ending. He learns from one of the henchmen that Get Good, or whatever this old Italian mafioso from the very beginning, was actually the guy that's been causing all the problems this entire time. He was a pawn in this guy's game. So after he hilariously snaps this dude's neck, he goes to the Las Vegas airport, where Connolly, this Fed guy, just this white meat babyface, he just pretty much gives him the okay to go back to international waters and commit murder, which I don't think you should do in any era when you're an American, but whatever. He goes back to the mansion. He has a standoff with this mafioso, and then he just shoots him behind a table very unceremoniously, and that's it. It ends in a very lame freeze frame, and
that's literally it.
I mean, the freeze frame is just hilarious. It's like they couldn't even get a good, like, in-focus shot of the freeze frame of Fred Williamson. It's
such an awkward framing shot where he's just, like, walking away, and he's got, like, this weird, like, frown on his face. It looks like a Tim and Eric edit or something like that. Like, it doesn't look like that's his real face.
It's that, and it's just also, it's like you could just tell the moment they hit freeze frame, they said cut. That's the type of freeze frame we got.
Yeah, they said, cut, we're out of money, we're done with this.
The Italians stopped giving them all of the money, and the movie just ends on a freeze frame. So, you know, we kind of speedrun a little bit of the description of what this movie is. I think the movie, I guess we're going into, like, would we recommend it or not? So,
no.
You wouldn't recommend it after a second viewing?
No. I was definitely a little bit more, bored and uninterested for most of the film. Like, it has its moments, obviously, but I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of that. Maybe a combination of the triple dipper after effects that I had, and also, like, the sleep deprivation today. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on with me today.
Yeah. I think there's a lot going against you behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen, that you're not aware of.
Yeah, maybe it's not the messenger's fault. Maybe it's my fault. But it was not the movie I thought I remembered.
No, I think I don't know if it's much of a watch either. I don't think I hated it the second go around like you did. I think for sure, like you were saying, the first time we watched it, I think there's a bit of nostalgia. Again, the pimp with the dollar signs, the grenade, the just the random, like, nonchalant kills in this movie. Like we
terrible music.
Yeah, the music, the terrible music. I think we all remember that during the pandemic days. Spoiler, folks, these first 3 episodes, these were all during, like, between 2020 and 2022, so maybe there's a bit more Stockholm Syndrome nostalgia effect going on here than you're aware of, or we're aware of, quite frankly. But yeah, it just didn't hold up as well as I expected, but there's still worse things you can watch. Again, praise be Tubi. This is on Tubi. I don't think anyone has rights to this movie. I can't imagine why Tubi would get rid of this movie, so you can watch it at any time.
It's been on Tubi for, like, 3 years now, so I think it's going to be on there forever. I don't think they have the rights to this movie, but they also no one has the rights to take it down, so I think it's just in purgatory.
You know what I think happened, Trevor, is just like the South Park guys, I think Fox, who owns Tubi, gave Fred Williamson $1.5 billion so they can get his entire filmography on there.
It was that valuable for them, yeah.
I mean, hey, at some point, folks, we're going to do South Beach, Foxtrap, On the Edge, all of the Fred Williamson classics.
Maybe Foxtrap is the movie that I'm thinking of. Maybe I liked that one more than I realized.
Well, Trevor, just write it down. We're going to watch it and do an episode at some point. You've now willed it into
Oh,
existence.
God, this will never end. No, what have I done?
Well, I guess for now, just, we'll let you wallow in the Triple Dipper and the theory that we got to keep watching these Fred Williamson movies. But, at the end of the day, we had fun here, didn't we, folks? So, hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for listening in. As always, we actually just hit 100 views for our first episode, which was Bingo, which I'm very proud of. When I first recommended this idea for Trevor to do this, he was just like, no, you're stupid, don't do this. But we did it anyway. But
Yeah, I still have those same opinions.
well, I'm going to keep forcing you until you're 6 feet underground. But until that happens, 100 views, I know in the grand scheme of things that might not sound like a lot, especially these days with your Markipliers and whoever's the big hotshot, Mr. Beast, they get the millions and the billions of views, but I'm very proud that we we either got people interested or conned them into listening to this. So I thank you for that. If you're on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe. The stereotypical thing. We would very much appreciate it. We are on Apple Podcast. We would love to get those numbers up as well. So please subscribe there when you get a chance. And as usual, we still cannot figure out Spotify. I think we're almost there. Just give it a couple months. Maybe we'll be on Spotify, but can't.
Yeah, just 5 more minutes, and I think it'll be finally uploaded. Give it a second.
Yeah. Just we just have to go get some cigarettes. Don't worry, we're gonna come back.
Keep refreshing it.
Yeah, keep refreshing it. Just keep refreshing Spotify. But you know what? Until then, we'll see you next month, I guess. So my name's Michael, and you are
Trevor.
Alrighty, guys. Have a good one. I guess go nuts.
It's fully digested, so now I'm just like running on fumes. But okay, so I'm made of flesh, and on my Instagram reels, I've trained my algorithm well enough, and okay, yeah, so I enjoy like a little bit of like food ASMR, mukbang type stuff. I'm a weirdo like that. I don't mind the sounds of people eating and stuff like that. I find it actually kind of relaxing. And so one of the things in those, kind of videos is a lot of them will eat the Chili's Triple Dipper. It got pretty famous on social media, I think, probably around the time of after the pandemic, maybe, or maybe it was even before that. I don't remember. But it got pretty big on social media, which, if you don't know, is the Chili's Triple Dipper is it's an appetizer, not a main course, but you get to choose 3 preset appetizers, but the most famous one is their fried mozzarella sticks, which is really the main reason why I went to go get it. And so yeah, it's 5 p.m. I stroll into the Chili's, which on the way to the Chili's, right next to the Chili's here, there's a giant mega church there, which doesn't really come into play, but I guess it kind of does actually a little bit later. So, past the mega church, walk into the Chili's. Already, I'm going to Chili's by myself, which is already incredibly embarrassing. Going to a restaurant by yourself don't do it. Just don't be a loser like me, please. And they didn't even, if you go by yourself, they they put you at the bar, but this time, no, they gave me a full 6-person table just to sit by myself, which made it even look more like a loser. And so I go there, and they sit me by this giant, window where, everyone in the parking lot can see me. All these, grandpappies and grandmammies, they're, coming into Chili's, because it's all old people there. And, they're just looking at me, looking like I'm a zoo animal, about to eat my Triple Dipper. And so, it comes, and this thing is not very good. I had a really big lunch, too, so I'm not even really that hungry anymore. And so I can only eat half of this Triple Dipper. It's really not that good. I got the fried Oh, I got the mozzarella sticks, but it's like the Nashville hot mozzarella sticks, and it was not very good. Like, the Nashville hot just makes me sick. It's so oily. Got the Big Mouth bites, which is like their mini little sliders, and the chicken strips, and it was bad. I should have went with the Southwest egg roll. I know I should have. I know myself, but I was like, yeah, you know what? I want to get the chicken because it has the honey barbecue, and I wanted to try the honey barbecue. And so, I'm eating it, and yeah, I can only get halfway, so I look like like a wimp who can't finish his fucking appetizer. I didn't even get a main thing. The chili. I asked the guy, like, hey, can I just get the chili dipper, the triple dipper as my main entree? And he's like, give me a look, like, really? You're just getting appetite? Okay, fine, whatever. And so yeah, and it's oily as shit. So I just got so much junk on my hands. I'm trying to drink this like 16-ounce draft Bud Light that they had because there was like a $3 deal, it was happy hour, and so I'm just making a mess of myself all throughout this Chili's. And yeah, the mega church was just getting out. And so it's, now I got all these like Christians just looking at me, across the parking lot looking like a freak. And yeah, God, I think that's about it. I don't know what else to mention, but yeah, don't get the triple dipper. You're gonna see a lot of Instagram reels about it. Just don't do it. Don't get the triple dipper, please. I beg you.
I think we can end it there.